Tēnā koutou katoa. Welcome back to The Shelf, a radio show for Whangarei District Libraries on Beagle Radio 88.1 FM.
Ngā mihi o te toho. Happy New Year. We apologize. We have an opening intro soundbite, and it just didn't feel like playing today. But that's okay. We can roll with it.
We can reenact it.
Yes.
Woof.
Yeah, it starts with some shushing, which we don't
Yeah.
really do that often.
No, that was pretty tongue-in-cheek of us.
And today's going to be much, much different. It's the beginning of a new era. We are here with one of our new DJs.
Woohoo! Welcome, LJ.
Hi, my name's LJ. I am the Cataloguing Services Librarian at Whangarei District Libraries, and I'm very excited to be here today.
Cool. And just to reintroduce ourselves, I'm Karlie. I'm on the same team as LJ, the technical services team. I'm a technical services librarian. I help them out with cataloging and acquisitions, processing, things like that, as well as some customer service shifts. And what about you, Andy?
Hi, my name is Andy. I'm on the outreach services team, and what we do is community engagement. Anything that we can do to extend our service to the public, whether or not that's making a Facebook post about our favorite book, I write some of those, or arranging Lego Club, just to bring kids into the library.
Yeah, we've all got pretty fun jobs, I reckon. Pretty fun and fulfilling and demanding and challenging and awesome.
Yeah, definitely. And, for our new member, LJ, what is your position at the library, LJ?
As I said, I am a Cataloguing Services Librarian on the Technical Services team.
Okay.
So my main role is cataloguing all the books that you see, and when you search on the catalogue and you find results, those are me as well. I am a full-time cataloguer, but we also have a part-time cataloguer that works 3 days a week.
And what would you say a cataloger does?
Break it down for us.
A day in the life.
Sure.
The technical services team, like Karlie, for example, does the acquisition, so receives new books into the library, assigns those little numbers that you see in the back so we can keep track of where our books are, and then anything that has a hold on it will come to me or my colleague. So if you've requested a book, those are always our priority to catalogue and get onto the shelves, and then the rest make their way into our acquisitions room, and we try to process them in a timely manner.
Yeah.
These days we mostly do what's called like copy cataloguing rather than original cataloguing. So we're using catalogue records that other people have produced and kind of just manipulating them to work for us. The idea behind the catalogue is being able to find the things that you want to find as a customer, and the role of the cataloger is to make that as simple as possible for the customer.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So you really do extend a service to the public then.
Yeah, I like to think so.
You make it readable. Now let's talk about you. Tell us your journey as a librarian. Where did you start?
So I started at Ranui Community Library in West Auckland in 2018 as what they call in Auckland a library assistant. So that was mostly customer facing, and then I worked there for a couple of years, and then in the pandemic I relocated to Whangarei and had a couple of years not working in libraries while I waited for a position to open. And I started in September of 2022 at Whangarei District Libraries, originally on the central team, which does a lot of the customer service facing shifts and the branches. And in October of 2023 I stepped into the cataloguing services librarian role.
Okay. And Well, where are you right now? Tell us about those courses you're taking.
Right now I'm taking a small break. So I got my diploma in Library and Information Studies in 2019, and I have been chipping away part-time at the bachelor's papers for the last few years, and I'm finally in, I guess, what you would consider the quote-unquote final year papers, but I do them part-time, so it takes me a little bit longer, but it means that I can fit it around full-time work. But yeah, at the moment I'm taking a little break while I adjust to my new full-time role, and yeah.
Yeah, totally. That's understandable. It's really hard to study part-time and work full-time.
Yeah.
I can attest to that.
It's good in the sense of the flexibility around your life, but also it means that your life is very, very, very busy. But yeah, I do really enjoy them and look forward to getting back to them.
That's great. Okay, and welcome aboard. So we will hear a whole lot more from LJ in the future.
It's going to be a fun year.
Well, next we would like to talk about the school holiday programs, which are ongoing. We have a message here from the teen librarian, the newly hired teen librarian, Milani, who formerly worked with serials and DVDs. And Milani wanted everyone to know that the last day to return your bingo card for the teen school holiday program is January 31st. The challenge is so simple. Choose any 5 challenges on the card. It's just a rectangular bingo card, and they include tasks such as read a graphic novel or recommend a book to a friend. Mm-hmm. It is that easy, and it will pass the time.
Yeah, there's some really cool challenges. I'm just reading them now.
What else is there?
Read a one-word titled book.
Okay.
Read a manga book. Check out a book by a local author. Read for 20 minutes. Sometimes even that's a challenge. So.
And you can choose any 5 tasks on the card. They do not have to be in a straight line like a bingo card. And you turn in your finished card at Whangarei Central Library, and you will get a prize.
Yeah, and for more information about that, that's up on our website as well, or you can just hop into the library and ask one of us, and we'll pick up a bingo card, and it's pretty self-explanatory. So that's a fun little challenge we've got going on for the teens. For the children's school holiday program, we have a pre-recorded message. Now, we had a technical glitch a minute ago, so please bear with us. I might have to try 2 times. Let's see if it works. Fingers crossed.
It's Mrs. Kite here. I'm just jumping on for our summer reading challenge. So we have given out well over 200 packs for the summer reading challenge this summer, which is amazing. And my inbox is literally flooded with entries, particularly the pancake challenge. I'm very jealous that you've all been eating pancakes all summer. And some of you have got to great heights with your pancake stack. So well done. I've even had some really cool huts that you've slept over. And there's one girl, Zara, who took it to the extreme. Her and her dad hiked in the bush and went to a remote beach, made a hut on the beach and slept over it and for the night. So that is like so epic. So just a reminder that your entries need to be in to me this Friday by 5 o'clock, which I think is the 19th. And then that gives me a week then to go through all the entries because there's so many of them. And then the following Friday, which is the 26th at 10 o'clock, please be early because we're going to start at 10. Come into the children's library, and that's where we're going to have the prize giving. So everyone will get a little prize for participating. Then we'll have some major prizes for, the best pancakes or the best origami or whatever. And then I'm super excited because we're having Aki back, who is the illustrator for Billy B. Brown, and she's going to do a half-hour drawing session with us, which we're super excited about. If you missed her at the school holiday program last year or you missed her at the AMP show, definitely come along for that, because she is absolutely incredible. So well done everyone who's been doing the challenges. See how many you can squeeze in before Friday. There's 20 of them. I know some of you out there are gunning to do all 20. So yeah, I'm so excited to see you all on the 26th at 10 o'clock in the Children's Library for the prize giving.
Oh, thank you, Marama.
Yeah, thank you, Marama.
Mrs. Kite, should we say?
Mrs. Kite, yes. Yes, and I just learned a lesson. There's a button I should press before playing
What
interviews.
do you think of our technical skills so far,
Blown
LJ?
away.
Are you're blown away? Well, we're
This is
very
just
good,
we're
I
teaching
promise.
you. It's just a lesson.
Do as we say, not as we do.
Yeah. So I'd like to play a song right now. This is a fun song. It's called Ça plane pour moi by Plastic Bertrand. He's a Belgian singer. He sings in French. And this song has a lot of nonsense lyrics, but it sounds a bit like a Beach Boys song. I don't speak
cool.
French, but I have the translation to the beginning. It's, wow, bam, my cat Splatch lays on my bed, ate his tongue, drinking from my whiskey.
Wow.
So let's hear how that actually sounds.
Can't wait.
This is Ça plane pour moi by Plastic Bertrand.
Bam bam, mon ça splash, j'ai sur mon lit à bouffer sa langue en buvant dans mon whisky. Quant à moi, peu dormi, vie débris, mais j'ai dû dormir dans la gouttière où j'ai eu un flash. En 4 couleurs. Allez hop, un matin, une louloute est venue chez moi, poupée de cellophane, cheveux chinois, un sparadrap, une gueule de bois, a bu ma bière dans un grand verre en caoutchouc. Comme un indien dans son igloo. Ça plane pour moi. Ça plane pour moi. Ça plane pour moi, moi. Ça plane pour moi. Ça plane pour moi. Allez hop, la nana, quel panard, quelle vibration de s'envoyer sur paillasson. Limé, ruiné, vidé, comblé. You are the king of the divan, qu'elle me dit en passant. I am the king of the divan. Ça plane pour moi. Ça plane pour moi. Ça plane pour moi, moi. Ça plane pour moi. Ça plane pour moi. Allez hop, t'occupe, t'inquiète, touche pas ma planète. It's not today que le ciel me tombera sur la tête et que la colle me manquera. Ça plane pour moi. Allez hop, banana, c'est tiré, c'est barré, enfin c'est marre à tout casser. L'évier, le barbelé sont seuls, comme un grand connard. Le pied dans le plat, ça plane pour moi. Ça plane pour moi. Ça plane pour moi, moi. Ça plane pour 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 moi.
1, 2, 3. Ooh. That was so fun. Thanks, Andy.
Mine was a little out of tune, but
Yeah,
But you-
we'll let the singers sing the songs from now on, maybe.
you
We'll
are
just do the dancing.
you are listening to The Shelf, a radio show for Whangarei District Libraries on Beagle Radio 88.1, and that was Ça plane pour moi by Plastic Bertrand.
What a cool song.
Yeah, I want to read this again. The words in French mean, my cat Splatch lays on his bed, ate his tongue, drinking from my whiskey, and for me, slept little, drained, bullied. I had to sleep in the gutter where I had a flash.
Ooh.
Then that part's in English and French.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
So for our next segment, we decided we were going to talk about what is going into the public domain in 2024. You might have seen a little bit about it online or in the media, about Mickey Mouse going into the public domain.
Yeah, Steamboat
Yeah.
Willie, I saw that.
Yeah, old school.
Thrown it way back.
So I've done a little bit of research.
Ooh, librarian.
like the librarian that I am, about what that actually means. So Public Domain Day falls on the 1st of January each year in most countries. And what that basically means is that the protection under intellectual property law has expired for that particular creative work. And I've got some notes here from Britannica Encyclopedia online. Really good if you wanted to read more about it. I felt like it was the sort of simplest language, but I've just got a little abridged some notes here about it. So public domain is a category of creative works that are unprotected by intellectual property law. These works cannot be owned, they are free for anyone to use, adapt, reproduce or distribute for commercial and non-commercial purposes. So Mickey Mouse from the 1928 Steamboat Willie cartoon specifically has entered the public domain, and also the plain crazy Mickey Mouse, which is the silent version. But Mickey Mouse as a character is still protected under copyright laws and trademark. So Disney still owns the trademark. So this means that the versions of the characters as they appear in the Steamboat Willie film can be used creatively by the public, but the other versions of Mickey Mouse remain protected, and the name Mickey Mouse is still protected. And the intention of this is to prevent people from using the character in a way that fools other people into thinking a product is from the original creator, in this case Disney. So for example, anyone starting a film company or a theme park would not be free to make the mouse ears their logo.
No.
So hopefully that clears that up. There is a website that has a list of what became available in the public domain as of this year. Maybe we could put it in the show notes.
Yeah,
Pop this up online so that people can go and have a look at it.
Yeah, it's on the dukelaw.edu website.
Yeah. And yeah, we were going to recommend a couple things from the public domain. I think Andy had a recommendation.
Yes, I do, and people who know me wouldn't be surprised. It's a movie. It's a silent movie called The Man Who Laughs, and this is a very special movie to me because, well, I'll explain in a minute. The plot of the story is about a man who gets disfigured, so he has a very horrifying smile on his face at all times. I'm making a smile. You can't see me, but I am.
You can hear it in his voice.
We get to have a visual component to this podcast.
But the haunting smile of this character was the inspiration for the Joker in Batman. And the movie is not a horror movie, actually. It's more like a love story. It's actually very sweet, and I thought it was kind of sad. I teared up a little bit.
Oh.
But yeah, that is The Man Who Laughs in the public domain.
That's really cool. And speaking of movies, I think we're all pretty much cinephiles in this room. But we did get a fan letter from Claudia, so shout out to Claudia.
Thank you, Claudia.
I also have a film recommendation. This one's from 1936. It's called My Man Godfrey. Have either of you heard of that one?
No.
Oh, it's so good.
Okay.
So it's starring William Powell and Carol Lombard, who are like my favorites. Carol Lombard, she's like a ditzy blonde in the film. She plays it so well, so lovable. She's a ditzy but lovable heiress who meets William Powell's character on a socialite scavenger hunt to find a forgotten man, aka he's homeless. And she finds him in a dump, and she ends up getting him hired as a butler because he helped her out, and she managed to beat her rich sister in this game. It's so funny. She's always using buttling and buttle to buttle as a word, as a verb.
I like that.
The butler buttles.
And he's super deadpan and actually very classy. He's just like down on his luck, but he's actually like this really intelligent dude. And he teaches her a very extra, very over the top, very bougie family some good lessons along the way, and also they fall in love.
Of course.
It's like a classic. It's a rom-com, but it's more like a comedy. And it's such a comfort movie, and the dialogue is so whip-smart and super fast, and the deadpan from Powell is just so funny. And I reckon Lombard could have easily been a success in modern Hollywood too. She like transcends time with her comedic acting. So hugely recommend this film, My Man Godfrey.
Okay, and well, what do you think, LJ?
I always love hearing you guys talk about movies because I don't really watch a lot of movies. It's something that my friends are always bullying me for. So it's an area I don't have a lot of knowledge in, so I always find it really interesting. My thing from the public domain, I'm very much a book person. So I've got a couple. One's an honourable mention. But the first one is The Well of Loneliness by Radcliffe Hall is entering the public domain. So it was first published in 1928, and it was pretty controversial. It's one of the earliest novels with like lesbian themes, and a British court actually judged it as obscene, and it wasn't published again in England until 1949, but it did survive several legal battles in the US, and ironically the court battles and the efforts to suppress it actually elevated its status in terms of its notoriety, in terms of people knowing about it and seeking it out. I have partially read it before. It is kind of hard going because the language is very much of the time, but it's definitely sort of a key work in the history of literature. And honourable mention as well to Orlando by Virginia Woolf, that's also entered the public domain this year. That has is quite a famous feminist novel, and the themes of gender, feminism, etc. It's been used in study a lot in terms of that. So, yeah.
Cool, those are great recommendations.
I was just looking at the website for Duke.edu, and I noticed some very well-known titles that are now in the public domain. Lady Chatterley's Lover by D.H. Lawrence, The Three Penny Opera by Bertolt Brecht, and you mentioned Orlando. Then this one, I read it last year, All Quiet on the Western Front by Eric Maria Remarque. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Nailed it.
And that book is it's a must-read if you want to be immersed into a pretty terrible time in history.
So if you want
if
that,
you
check
want
it out.
that,
If that's an experience you're actively seeking out.
the most famous title on this list though is Peter Pan.
I didn't even notice that when I was looking.
No.
Yeah.
Well, one of the books anyway.
I can see an Agatha Christie title on there.
Oh yeah,
as well.
where's that? The Mystery on the Blue Train. There's always a train in her books.
She does have a good train. Yeah.
Yeah, she's so popular still to this day, Agatha Christie. We've got a lot of her books in the library.
Yeah,
I think
her collection
she
moves.
was, maybe on like the top 10 authors for December, like in terms of what's being checked out of the Whangarei District Libraries.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's definitely enduring.
Yeah.
So, LJ, you had a song you would like to play?
I do have a song, and I've set myself maybe an impossible challenge, but I'm going to try each time to have my song tied to a book in some way.
That's a really cool idea.
We'll see how long this lasts, but the song that we're going to play now is from a concept album called Tragic Treasury by the Gothic Archies. The songs are all inspired by a series of unfortunate events, the book series, but you might have also seen the television adaptation or the movie. And the songs were actually included at the end of the original audiobook editions of the books when they first shipped. So the song we're going to play today is inspired by book 7 in the series, The Vile Village, and the song is called Crows by the Gothic Archies.
Okay, let's give it a listen.
It gets dark around here early because of all the crows. What they want and where they came from, no one really knows. Crows are sour and surly, with reason I suppose. There are crows in the trees, saying crow things, doing as they please. There are crows everywhere. But when I think of you, dear, I don't care. It gets light around here slowly because of how it goes. Every day we hear the same dumb list of those crows' woes, thinking they're so holy while leaving mementos. There are crows in the trees, saying crow things, doing as they please. There are crows everywhere. But when I think of you, dear, I don't care. I don't care, because I know you love me. Unlike all the crows lurking above me. There are crows in the trees, saying crow things, doing as they please. There are crows everywhere. But when I think of you, dear, I don't care.
And we're back. You are listening to The Shelf.
Welcome. That was a really cool song, LJ.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that was Crows by the Gothic Archies. Now, we're going to try something a little different today. We're going to have a bit of fun here. So, sometimes I gain amusement by reading bad reviews online. And I mean, I read them for everything. I find parks are the funniest.
Yeah.
National parks, city parks, the bad reviews are hilarious. You know, there's no Wi-Fi at the park. But because we're a library, we're going to read some bad reviews of books. Now, I've got a list here of some reviews, and I feel some of these might be facetious, but you can never really tell. The things that are posted online, they're by, what's a word we can call them? Unidentified internet posters. UIPs.
Very diplomatic.
UIPs. It's like UFOs. So maybe they're serious reviews, but we will just take turns reading some of these.
We'll do a bit of a dramatic reading.
Yeah, dramatic reading. We'll go anti-clockwise. Okay, I'll start. Oh, and the book that we chose is 1984 by George Orwell. The reason is, I think most people are somewhat familiar with this book. People quote the first 10 pages of it all the time.
Because that's all they've read.
Yeah, I liked the book. I would not give it 1 star.
Yeah, I remember liking it too.
You can request it at your local library.
we have several copies of that and other Orwell books. But these are the 1-star reviews, which I just want to say do not reflect my views. So I will start. I didn't care for this book. It made me depressed.
Wah, wah.
This book isn't as good as Harry Potter.
Ooh.
Oh.
Worst novel in the world. I just want to rip it up and burn the pieces.
We do not condone book
No.
burning
No.
here at the shelf.
Even if you don't like the book, just return
Just
it
a
to the
PSA.
library.
Don't do that.
PSA.
Okay, next. I'm an avid reader. However, this book I found to be totally dull. I know it's a classic, so perhaps the problem is with me and not the book.
I love the self-awareness. Ooh, this is...
You got a lengthy one.
This is a good one. Ahem. Orwell is no wordsmith, and his style of writing stinks and flows like verbal diarrhea. It even leaves a bad aftertaste, as diarrhea should, preventing one from revisiting the ideas in the book due to the... oh no, try not to laugh challenge. Due to the runny, turd-like substance that Orwell considers a storyline. The moral of the story is hard to care about when the story itself sucks. I highly recommend this book if you have a melatonin deficiency and have trouble sleeping.
That's harsh.
As somebody that does take melatonin to sleep, I
Yeah.
appreciate the tip.
Yeah. It's like less than a 1-star review.
Yeah, we've gone into
I love their
negatives.
use of prose.
Yeah.
Very creative.
Yeah.
This review is quite succinct. It simply says, "Ooh." Full stop.
Yeah. Let me try that. Ew.
Ew.
Well, maybe they were responding to the previous.
Yeah. Okay, next up. One of the worst books I ever read. If you want a book about a controlling society, Animal Farm by this author is much better and actually more realistic.
Oh. Talking animals, more realistic.
Yeah, a pig named Napoleon, chickens that talk, you know.
You never met a chicken that talks?
Yeah, no. You can call somebody a chicken, but no, that's not the same. Okay.
Last time I ever read a history book by this Orwell scrub, he doesn't know a thing about the 80s. Not once did he mention Def Leppard or Karma Chameleon.
Oh.
I think that one might be a little tongue-in-cheek. I hope so, anyway.
It sounds like it.
The next person said, "I prefer 1989."
What would
Taylor
that,
Swift?
yeah, what would that be about? Oh,
Yeah, I'm guessing Taylor Swift reference.
This is harsh. Praise the Lord and pass the ammunition. I am finished with this beast of a book.
Amen.
Very visceral. War is peace. Freedom is slavery. Ignorance is strength. Wow, I just pronounced ignorance wrong on live radio. Take away my librarian badge. Ignorance is strength. 1984 is the most boring book I have ever read.
I think you're just getting into character there.
Yeah, well, thank you.
I didn't think it was boring. I thought it's a little weird that Winston Smith in the book, he gets a 2-hour lunch break. That's just a detail I noticed. Oh, and he gets free gin from the government.
The 2-hour lunch break I could get behind.
Yeah. I wouldn't
The rest
want.
of it?
I don't envy other parts of him.
Also, the rest of the reviews for Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien.
Yeah, I went with the reviews for basically the compilation for the whole series.
Oh,
just
cool.
to note.
Okay. First up, this person says, This book is so boring, 3 exclamation marks. I think this is the most boring book in the world. I don't think this thing should be a book.
Okay. Tolkien would have used his time much better if he had used it to cut the grass for an elderly lady, work as a volunteer in a soup kitchen, or collect money for the blind.
That's very much my favorite review
Yep.
of this whole thing.
How do we know he didn't do those
Yeah,
things?
that's a good point.
true.
Maybe he did.
I'm quite enjoying these ones as a fantasy reader that tried to read Lord of the Rings and didn't enjoy it. So
Oh, okay.
I'm here for the Tolkien slander. This book sucked. Yes, that's the technical term. It sucked. It sucked in 1984 when I tried to read it the first time at age 10.
1984.
It sucked in 1990, 1995, and in 2012. Tolkien can't write a decent dialogue or character. This book is a history backdrop. Tolkien himself is a classic high-born Oxford boy. Pretty scathing, but I do admire their commitment to keep
Yeah,
returning to it. I think I would have given
But in general, if you're not enjoying a book, you don't have to read it.
Do
Find
not
something
have
you
to-
do want to read.
that's
Yeah, I mean,
the
there's
PSA of the day. Life is too short to read books you are not enjoying.
Yeah.
more modern fantasy books, and Tolkien wrote other books. A lot of poetry.
Next review. Oh, they said, can be summarized as walking, 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 bit of fighting with orcs, walking, 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 anguish, walking, 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 bit more fighting with orcs, walking, walking, walking.
I am tempted to go out and buy a wobbly table just so I can put this book to good use.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Based on the hit movies of the same name. I have seen the movies.
I've
I
seen-
haven't read
yeah, I like
books,
the movies.
but I watched them once.
I think it's a bit like A Brief History of Time, one of the best books nobody's ever read.
Is that true? Have any of you read
I
that?
actually haven't.
No, neither have I. That's a Stephen
Maybe it's
Hawking
true.
book. I mean, I think A Brief History of Time is a lot shorter than Lord of the Rings, if that's what you prefer. Both the authors are British. Can we make a Venn diagram? Maybe both of the books are rather heavy. So LJ, you said you started reading it.
I've tried to read it, maybe not as many times as that reviewer that read it at age 10 and then 3 or 4 more times.
It's a
But
bit young to
yeah,
dive into that.
I think that just, I have a general kind of, I think that classic literature is important to the literary canon,
Yeah.
and I understand that its place, but it's not always the most accessible language because it's very much of the time, in the same way that a lot of, some of the books that we're reading today are not necessarily going to be engaging in future times. But yes, I
Yeah.
do respect their place. But whenever I say I read fantasy, people always just jump to automatically
Lord of the
thinking I've read Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
I have to let them down gently.
Yeah. I mean, classic literature is important to understand, but no,
Absolutely,
you
yeah.
do not have to just pick up Moby Dick and read it cover to cover, and that is a complex book. Not only is it the time that it was written in, I think the older a book gets, the harder it is to read, and books that might have been written for children 100 years ago or 200 years ago, I'm thinking Treasure Island, they're a bit harder to read now.
And a lot of the, some of the language has fallen out of common use. So you're constantly running for a dictionary to look up these archaic terms. But, a lot of that classic stuff also has some really good adaptations that have been updated for, today's audience, shall we say.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
But if you like them, we're not knocking them.
No.
No hate mail, please.
We have a classics section, and I think they're there for a reason. People still read them, and you can tell by the condition of the book. People do read them.
Absolutely.
I say I'm surprised by the amount of people who still read every Steinbeck or Hemingway book. They still read them. Oh, Jane Austen.
Yeah,
I love Jane Austen.
The Brontes.
yeah, and I love Jane Eyre is one of my
Yeah.
favorites, and I've noticed it's been actually getting a lot of rotation lately.
Oh, good.
So I'm not sure what that's about.
Yeah,
but
it's
I'm
such a good
happy
one.
to see it.
Yeah.
That was fun. We'll do it again.
Yeah, good
Yeah,
one.
we'll choose some more classics and we'll just hammer them to death.
Yeah, there's so many reviews to choose from.
It's
and maybe
we'll
we'll
roast.
influence you to request them or pick them up from your library.
We could call it the roast of classic literature.
Yeah, it's such a shame the library doesn't have a reviewing system.
Yeah, maybe that's something we could look into.
Maybe we could do it on social media.
Just very briefly, I want to talk about, beach reading or road trip listening recommendations. After all, I've seen a lot of boats going up the highway, a lot of cars with surfboards strapped to the top. So if you were intending to read something decent this summer or listen to an audiobook along the way, we've got a couple of recommendations for you. Right now I'm listening to the audiobook for Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. It's about a rock band in the 70s, and they sound like a bit like Fleetwood Mac.
I
And
think it's loosely based on Fleetwood Mac, from what I've heard. Maybe fact check me on that one, but
yeah, and it's all about the complexities of releasing an album. The audiobook and the book itself, it's sex, drugs, and rock and roll, pretty much. And I'm finding it very, very interesting. So that's my recommendation, Daisy Jones and the Six.
and then afterwards you can watch the TV show.
It's a TV show too, yeah.
Yeah. My recommendation, I am just finishing up the Practical Magic series. Some people might be familiar with the movie Practical Magic, starring Nicole Kidman and
Googling
Sandra
it.
Bullock.
Sandra
Yeah.
Bullock.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was trying to talk about this movie with my friend the other day, and I called her Suzanne, and I was like, "That's not her name." Terrible. But yeah, it's one of those cases where a lot of people find the movie to actually be better than the book. Controversial. But I think if you approach it in its own right, knowing that it's going to be a little bit different, it's very enjoyable. And the subsequent novels, she took quite a while to write the follow-ups in the series, and I think that her writing improves a lot from the first one going forward. So we've got all 4 books in the library. The first one covers the original story of the young girls going to live with their aunts and the background on like the family curse. And then the second book goes back in time to the aunt's childhood. The third book goes back all the way to the time of the Salem witch trials and talks about the ancestor that originally put the curse on the family. And then I'm now in the 4th book, which comes back to present day, and I'm in the process of finding out of whether the curse is going to be broken and how they're going to manage to do that.
Nice.
So yeah, it takes you to a lot of different time periods, and it's really lovely, whimsical, magical realism that I really enjoy, that I think is lovely for sitting in the sun to read. So that's my recommendations. 4 books.
Okay.
I also have a recommendation. I've just started listening to Neil deGrasse Tyson's book starring
Okay.
Messenger, which is cool because he does the audiobook himself. That's just a cool one to sit and listen to, like on a summer's evening outside. Like it's just
Sounds
the vibes
lovely.
are on.
Yeah.
It gets quite philosophical.
Okay. And next up, we have a song we'd like to play. Or it was Karlie's recommendation. Can you tell us about this?
So this is Little by Little by Oasis. It's a song about pushing through the hard times and just, finding meaning in this world.
And here it is.
We the people fight for our existence. We don't claim to be perfect,
we're free. We dream our dreams alone with no resistance, fading like the stars we wish to be. You know I didn't mean what I just said. But my God woke up on the wrong side of his bed, and it just don't matter now. 'Cause little by little, he gave you everything you ever dreamed of. Little by little, the wheels of your life, they're slowly falling off. Little by little, you have to give it all in all your life and all the time. I just ask myself why you really hear. True perfection has to be imperfect. I know that sounds foolish, but it's true. The days come, now you'll have to accept the life inside your head we give to you. No, I didn't mean what I just said. But my God woke up on the wrong side of his bed, and it just don't matter now. 'Cause little by little, he gave you everything you ever dreamed of. Little by little, the wheels of your life, they're slowly falling off. Little by little, you have to give it all in all your life and all the time. I just ask myself why you really hear. Hey! Little by little, he gave you everything you ever dreamed of. Little by little, the wheels of your life, they're slowly falling off. Little by little, you have to give it all in all your life and all the time. I just ask myself why you're really
And that was Oasis with, what was the name of that song, Karlie?
Little by little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you are still listening to The Shelf, a radio show for Whangarei District Libraries on Beagle Radio 88.1.
Yeah, and don't forget to follow us on our social medias. You might be listening to this on YouTube after the fact, but we've also got
That's right.
Facebook and Instagram. So follow us there and let us know what you're reading, how you're enjoying the library and all that stuff.
Yeah, we look forward to it. And yeah, please follow us on Facebook.
Yeah. Like, follow, and subscribe.
Yeah.
And tell us how great we are.
Yeah, we love compliments.
Let's talk about events.
Okay. Coming up next week, actually, there's the Mrs. Kite talked about this briefly in her early in the episode. So we've got the grand finale for the children's summer reading program, and that's happening Friday 26th of January from 10 to 11 a.m. There's lots of fun stuff happening. So if you participated in the summer reading competition with your reading log, the tamariki are welcome to come along, and there'll be prizes for everyone and some special prizes for those that did especially well on the tasks.
And on, just reading this here, Tuesday, 30th of January to Friday, the 2nd of February, Te Tiriti o Waitangi Talks, the Treaty of Waitangi Talks. Everything you wanted to know about the Treaty of Waitangi, but were afraid to ask.
Yeah, that's going to be really worthwhile
It's on the
session.
ground floor of the Central Library, I believe.
Yeah, I think it's in the foyer
yes.
of the library.
Yeah, ground floor.
So
That's
it's
right.
a judgment-free space, so come and ask your questions and learn a bit more about this important document and important history.
That's right.
We've also got afternoon book club starting back up again on 5th of February. Do they have to register? Yeah,
so.
please register by on our website. There's a email link, so if you send us an email saying you're interested, come along to discuss some books based on a theme. They'll let you know what the theme is if you register.
And preschool fun time will start again on February 13th. Meet every Tuesday. So just an event for the small ones. The kids can come and have sing-alongs, can dance, and what would you say the purpose of preschool fun time is?
Well, it's a little bit educational, a little bit socializing, a little bit just boogieing and having fun for the kids. It's a good way for them to, I don't know.
Create positive associations with the library.
Exactly.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and on that same day we also have Lego Club for the slightly older children.
right.
So that's primary and intermediate school aged kids. And that's always fun. We have little challenges set up for them on the day. And that's after school at 3:45 to 4:45 p.m. on Tuesday 13th of Feb.
And also on the 13th of February.
Busy day.
Yeah, busy day.
We're going to be busy, you guys.
The Flash Writers Group. If you are interested in writing, sharing, and generally having fun with flash and microfiction, this is the place to be. So that flash fiction is just a very short episode of fiction. It can only be a page even. And they will meet every Tuesday of each month. And
Every
yeah.
first Tuesday.
Oh, yes, sorry. But correction. That was an example of misinformation. They meet the first Tuesday of each month. And each meeting consists of writing exercises, readings, critique, and other activities agreed on by the members, best suited for adults.
Awesome.
Entry is free.
Is there something happening at 116 as well?
Yes, there is. It's a play. I love the names of the plays here. This one is called The Dumb Waiter. The Dumb Waiter is a one-act play by British playwright Harold Pinter, a modernist tragicomedy. It tells the story of two assassins while they wait in a basement room for their target to appear. In their apathy, they quarrel about trivial issues and question the hit. Soon their senses of reality begin to falter. And that is at 116 from January 25th to the 27th. And
That's awesome. So check out their website for full information, how to get tickets, etc.
yeah, support your local 116 venue.
Yeah.
And also put in your calendar, Art Beat is happening again in February on the 24th. I do not have it here in my notes, but I know there is some kind of competition running. There's a poster on the community notice board at the Central Library that has the info on how to enter. I think you win like some accommodation accommodation and something like that. But yeah, keep an eye out for that. Put it in your calendar. The library, I believe, will be having a little stall there again this year. Usually we make something fun,
Yep.
do something creative.
Yeah, I will be there.
Yeah, me too. It looks like there's an information page on the council website. So
Okay.
just search Artbeat Festival Whangarei and you'll find it.
Perfect.
At Pūtahi Park this year.
And the prize giving?
Oh, we mentioned that.
Oh, we mentioned that.
But it doesn't hurt to mention it again. Feb 26th. No,
Yeah.
January 26th.
That's-
Oh, now I'm giving misinformation.
January 26th. Yeah.
Okay. I wrote down the wrong thing. Well, it is time to say goodbye. I would like to thank 116 for letting us use their lovely studio.
Yes, thank you.
And yeah, so we're going to close with a song. It is a cover. It is AFI, Just Like Heaven, and that is a cover of the Cure song. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Here's AFI with Just Like Heaven.